So, welcome to Gracie Chen, the CEO of Bitget. Today is with us, with the readers and watchers of cryptovaluta.it. Welcome to our channel, Gracie.
Nice meeting you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And yeah, we want to start from something which makes people talk a lot, actually. You are one of the few female leaders in the crypto space. How does it feel? Because it's a quite male heavy environment. Is it hard? Is it weird somehow?
So I think I was told that among the top 10 exchanges, I'm probably the only female CEO. I definitely want to shorten that gap between the female and male of gender ratio in terms of the leadership roles. That I'm the only female CEO among top 10 crypto exchanges. I'm glad that I can represent more female leaders. But basically, this is a gap that we observe in our industry. If you look at the whole workspace, male, female looks still okay, but you look at the higher pyramid in terms of the CEO roles, the GPs and partners in VCs and funds, etc. We probably see less and fewer female leaders, and that's why this is a problem that's actually very dear to my heart. What I mean by that is we initiated this CSR program called Blockchain for Her nearly 2 years, 1.5 years ago for the World Economic Forum. And I want to bring in more female leaders and female workforce industry, and even educate, mentor, provide scholarship for the young female even students or girls to get to know more about Web3. Because Bitcoin is on day one built on the idea of decentralization, peer-to-peer, and very liberal concept. It shouldn't be just a broad culture. And I'm glad that this year we're working with UNICEF to drive further movement over there. So UNICEF and Get are working together, pioneering in basically 8 countries, including Brazil, Armenia, etc. So 8 developing countries to provide some educational programs for the younger girls to get to know more about crypto and blockchain. So these are some of the initiatives we have at Bitget, and it's indeed very dear to my heart.
Blockchain for Air is an interesting program. I want to follow up because you talked of some kind of pyramid. I mean, you say that at the base we have a normal mix. I mean, there are males and females, but when you go above, when you climb up, it's a male world. It's some kind of it's mirroring the traditional finance. Even in traditional finance, there are not so many women in apical positions. I think that most of the beside Katie Wood, there is no big fund manager and so on from the. So you think that in
Yeah.
the blockchain
No,
space this can change? So you
I
think?
think this should be changed. For example, again, we actually had research and data on this. Um, I think the research tells us like about only 10 to 12% of the projects have a female co-founder, and actually those projects who have a female co-founder are performing better on average to those who don't have any female co-founder. That say something. For example, women are more risk averse. We are also collaborating together as human beings to work together. There are certain things that males are better and certain other things that females are better in terms of, for example, communication. I guess that's an area that generally women are considered to do better, and risk averse is another thing. But basically, Yeah, you're right. And by the way, I had like this personal experience because I'm also invited in various speech and events to, for example, join a panel. And usually I'm the only female representative in a 5 people panel. And I find it weird. And also people always ask me, the only female panelist on the stage, in terms of, as a female CEO, how do you balance work and life? Work and family specifically. I'm like, why do you ask me? These guys, they don't have family. They also have family, right? But that's the kind of gender bias we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, it's there is a lot of gender bias. I mean, you're basically supposed to be very busy if you're a father too. I mean, it's like the mothership is. It's felt like something uh, too big of a burden to do than some serious job like you do. We will go back to your personal life if you let us later on.
Sure.
In Europe, yeah, everybody's talking about the MiCA, the new regulation who hit the sector, who is trying to keep it afloat. It's quite a big piece of regulation, actually, because it involves exchanges, stable coins, new token emissions, and such. What is Bitget gonna do? I mean, can we expect full regulation? Uh, what do you think also about regulation? I mean, you're in favor or not? Let us know, please.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I have a joke about regulation or regulators. I said they are like our parents, annoying but necessary. Obviously, this is a joke. I love regulators. We work with various regulators in the world. For example, in Middle East, Vara, in certain other Asian countries. I met many of the regulators. MAS in Singapore, Hong Kong financial, all these sorry, all those regulators. Then in terms of Europe, you're right. Like MiCA is a pretty complicated framework, but in my opinion, it's also quite advanced. That, for example, even before in the US, CFTC and SEC was still debating whether Ethereum is a stock or, sorry, is an equity, which should be under SEC, or it's a commodity which should be under CFTC. At that time, which was what, 1 or 2 years ago, MiCA is implemented, and all these frameworks are coming out already. Right, the travel rule under MiCA is very strict and ask for lots of information about all the funds. Where does that come from? Or who does that belong to? Where is it heading to? All this information under MiCA, in my opinion, are quite sophisticated and also important. It's actually leading in terms of regulatory frameworks around the world, even ahead of the US in certain ways. And in terms of Bitget's plan under MiCA, we are talking to some regulators here, especially we actually have obtained certain license in Lithuania, Poland, in the Europe already. We're also looking at setting up a regional hub in potentially Austria. I'm also traveling in the Europe, a few countries very extensively this summer. Some conversations with regulators, some conversations with our local partners, with our institutional clients. I'm actually in one of our institutional clients' office right now. But basically, Europe is very important in our map, and we see lots of growth here, especially given Bitget started off in East Asia. In 2018, we have a larger Asia base, but we see lots of growth potential in Europe. And we want to work closely with MiCA, with the local regulators here.
We are going to go
Mm-hmm.
back to the questions. Bitget had a wonderful 2024. Huge increase in users, huge increase, many new services. What can we expect from 2025, 2026, and actually, especially for European users, because after you get regulated, most probably there are going to be some kind of services which will be specifically tailored for European users.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So number one, 2025 has been a year where we are expanding from our original crypto exchange business. Actually, this year you see us grow a lot on institutional clients. So no more just retail user, which was our majority of our user base. Now our whole company's flow is about 50% retail user, 50% institutional user. And that was completely or mainly more retail based about 1 year ago. So definitely more institutional growth here, and especially lots of institutions are based in the Europe, based in some major cities here in Europe. Certain some have Asia hub, some actually only have a European hub. So that's one thing, institutional clients definitely. And then product wise, we actually offered, in my opinion, two quite exciting products recently within the past few weeks. Number one, we are doubling down on AI. We launched something called Get Agent, which is a crypto specific AI agent. Even if you just ask this agent for some very new information, for example, for this past weekend, what happened exactly on the pump IDO? For example, a question like this that is very recent, that you want to have specifics, and you can interact with the agent on those information, on even some analysis, maybe price prediction for pump and certain other tokens, etc. So this AI agent is something quite interesting, and I've had a lot of friends who text me and told me that they just follow the price range that's advised by this AI agent, and it went pretty well in terms of having some good trades and good gains there. So AI is definitely one thing we are betting a lot on, and I think will revolutionize how our industry and of course the world work in upcoming few years. We see, ChatGPT, DeepSeek coming out for the past few years already, and many people are using it. But in terms of crypto specific information, I think Get Agent is something quite interesting for people to try. So AI is one thing, and then another thing is the integration of crypto and traditional stock. For example, we offer our user together with this organization called X Stock to have our user be able to purchase tokenized stocks and tokenized ETFs. And also have our user to be able to trade some crypto specific stocks, for example, Circle stocks and Alpha, some of those crypto companies that are listed in the US stock exchange and NASDAQ, etc. So this integration of the crypto world and stock or equity is another trend that I see. And I do think that's something quite attractive to all the bigger users, and because the European users are more financially literate, just by default, that they appreciate, they start to invest in stock earlier and in a larger scale than some other maybe Asian users. So that's some sort of offering and product that I think will be appreciated by many European users. And then if we are setting up a European hub, which we're still in discussion with certain regulators and in terms of our business and internal team. So this hasn't been decided yet, but we are thinking about setting up a European hub. If that happened, I think we will, be more compliant with the MiCA rules in terms of having a European specific order book. That could happen. So if that's coming out, we will definitely be targeting more on the European users for this specific product. So lots of things are coming up in 2025 and 2026. And there are lots of things like AI, like on-chain products, like this X Stock partnership, which are launched in the first half of 2025 already.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Everybody is talking about tokenization. There are several. Yeah, it's gonna change the markets forever. That's for sure.
Totally.
I remember that if my father wanted to buy an American stock, he had to have a special account at the bank. He had to
Mm-hmm.
pay unbelievably high fees to wait. They had to place the order by phone. It was, yeah, it happened actually in 20 years now. We are going to have another step. But let's go back to your, yeah, not your personal life, but how did you get involved with crypto? I mean, it's, what has been your journey actually?
What was my journey? Yeah, I guess everyone has a aha moment in crypto. For me, that aha moment happened when I was still a TV journalist. So I graduated from Singapore for with a bachelor's degree in applied mathematics. I was a TV anchor reporting on financial and technological news, based in Beijing and Hong Kong in 2014 and 15. And that's when I had a TV friend who asked me, Gracie, you should check out Bitcoin since you're reporting on technology and finance, right? This is like the integration of the two. And then I read the Bitcoin white paper. I bought a little bit Bitcoin, because I was just a fresh graduate at that time. I really regretted not buying a lot and even borrowing money and asked my parents to sell off their house and buy Bitcoin. Because at that time, Bitcoin was only 500. Today, it's nearly 120K. So made some good investment there, but I wasn't fully involved in crypto industry. I was just building on two startups, two Web2 startups, one on fintech, what providing financial SaaS service to freelancers in China, another one on metaverse and VR. And then in 2022, one of my invested portfolio company, which is called Bitget, they reached out and asked me whether I'm interested in joining Bitget. Why? Because they were looking for someone who have extensive marketing and managerial backgrounds, who is also interested in crypto. And I was shortlisted in that sense, and I joined Bitget. So Bitget was and is my first ever crypto job. And I joined Bitget 1 week before the Luna collapse in 2022. So that was like totally like roller coaster. Like the first week I joined the company, and then this industry is going through, dramatic, for example, big Bitcoin price drop, and then lots of crisis. End of the year there was FTX collapse. But basically, for the past 3.5 years that I'm in Bitget, I also actually less than 3.5, maybe just slightly more than three. But basically, I've experienced lots of like all these different incidents in our industry, like witness this company goes up, goes down, bankruptcy, this and that, hacking, etc. It's quite dramatic, and of course we are doing pretty well, like in terms of our company's growth and hyper growth period. When I joined the Bitget, we only have about 100 people. Now we have 1,500 employees around the world. So lots of growth there. And in terms of user base, also times 20, we ranked top 4, top 5 in terms of the trading volume among all the crypto exchanges today. So lots of interesting things happen, but that's basically my crypto journey.
It has been quite a journey actually. I mean, either you become insensitive to anything, it's impossible to survive. I mean, after the Terra Luna, FTX, and many others which we forgot actually. We forgot Celsius, we forgot Three Arrow Capital. I mean, there has been
Yeah.
quite a
We
long
also
list.
lost some money at 3AC because we are one of their creditors.
Ouch.
Yeah.
But we came back pretty strong, possibly with a better spirit. But everybody now is quite bullish. I mean, also the institutional players, the exchanges we talked to, there is that feeling of 2021. Do you share this bullish outlook, or you think that maybe we are a bit in a FOMO situation? Are we
Mm-hmm.
feeling of missing out, or there is really a strong bullish fundamentals? Actually, what do you think?
Mm-hmm. I'm actually very bullish fundamentally. I don't really think we're just FOMOing. And although, similar to 2020 or 21, when there's more liquidity in our industry, we just saw the Europe cut the interest rate from 4.75% to 4.5%. So that was like the first interest cut since 2019 in Europe. And I'm guessing the US will also cut interest rate for at least once or even twice later of this year. Lots more liquidity coming up. So in a sense, on one hand, it's similar to 20 and 21st in terms of the bull market. On the other hand, I also don't think it's same. Why is that? It's like fundamentally different now. Previously, we follow, at least Bitcoin price, follow this 4-year cycle quite rigorously due to mining, liquidity in the traditional financial industry, etc. But now, if you look at since 2024 when ETF was approved in the US and later on Donald Trump became the new president and issued a lot of loosening regulatory frameworks and basically all the regulations that are becoming more friendly towards crypto. He even issued his own meme coin, and now the Genius stablecoin bill is gonna be passed very soon. So everything like this is pushing the pricing power of Bitcoin from originally more crypto native community, miners, exchanges, projects, etc., to more institutional, more Wall Street, let's put it that way, in terms of also more related to the traditional financial industry and macroeconomic uh, frame environment. So I don't really think that Bitcoin will still follow the 4-year cycle, and that's why I don't think this is exactly 21. Because this is probably just the starting point of a very relatively long bull run. The fundamentals are changed. The Bitcoin is becoming, in my opinion, the best US risky asset. By best, I mean, risk adjusted ratio, very comparable to the Magic 7 stocks, etc., rather than just a risk averse asset like gold, like digital gold, or previously just following this 4-year cycle rigorously. Yeah. So that's why I don't think we're FOMO. I think we should continue accumulating and buying Bitcoin. I actually just sent a tweet yesterday that while Bitcoin stands up to 120K, I'm still buying. And I would suggest my friends and family to continue to do that, because fundamentally we are just at the starting point of a long liquidity improvement period of time. The US is gonna to cut the interest, and not just the US or Europe. There's also other economies like China who are going through quantitative easing, etc. So I think liquidity in general is gonna be increased, and M2 supply is also going up and up to all-time high. And historically, Bitcoin price have been following with the M2 supply pretty well. So I shared a graph on my Twitter. By the way, my Twitter handle is Gracie Bitget, GRACY BITGET. I just use the platform to do a little bit advertisement here, because that's where I share a lot of personal and financial advice, and of course, Bitget's news. In terms of this social platform. So I just shared that yesterday. I think 120K is just a starting point.
That's so you're actually more bullish than other bullish people I talk
Really?
to. Yeah, they are very bullish, which is cool actually, because I think that you people from the exchanges have the pulse of the market more than retail investors. But you named a few of institutional changes. Yeah, there is more than Donald Trump. Probably there is Paul Atkins at SEC. Paul Atkins, the new chairman of SEC, is he hates rules. Actually, he believes in total free market, so probably it's going to be very good for Bitcoin and the crypto asset. But now you have new competitors as exchanges. If I'm an American and I want to buy Bitcoin, I don't have to go through the exchange anymore. I can go to my normal brokering account, buy ETFs, buy structured products. There is MicroStrategy. There are gonna be several other companies. Do you fear? Do you have some fear for this kind of competition? I mean, BlackRock, Fidelity, they are very efficient. They have very low fees, and they are very reliable. You are very reliable, but BlackRock is reliable also for the boomers, for the people who never touched Bitcoin before. So are you a bit scared?
I wouldn't call it scared. It's more of this new dynamics that we all need to adapt to. While Bitcoin and Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs are offered on BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, VanEck, like all these ETF issuers, but they don't have other tokens, right? Bitcoin is half the market, but there are more than 1 million tokens available in the world. Bitget actually listed about 800 of them. We're also very selective. We're not a DEX. We're not a wallet where you can do swap on multiple like millions plus tokens. We try to work with the best projects in the industry and the most popular ones. We do pretty good due diligence on their team, on their codes, on their tokenomics, etc., to decide who we want to list. But basically, if you want to buy, for example, Solana, or Doge, or even Trump, you probably won't be able to do that on BlackRock, obviously, since the ETFs of them are not issued yet. But whether for example, Solana ETF, I think that could be very, very possible in the near future. But basically, I think we're just serving different clients. By the way, we also don't, at least at Bitget, we don't serve the US customers. So ETFs and especially the US-based ETFs are probably just grabbing market shares from, I don't know, Coinbase and Kraken, not necessarily from us because we don't do that market. But however, if I look at the exchange business in general, it's a pretty good business as far as you are established and you protect your users' fund very well and you don't do anything bad. It's a cash cow business in the sense that I think anyone can survive as far as you are well established already. You don't need to be number one to do a good job there. And also in the long run, I think we're just working together. For example, Bitget and BlackRock actually work together on issuing and providing their tokenized money market fund builder to our platform and integrated that to our exchange token BGUSD to give users a decent yield on holding USD pegged stablecoin. So something like that is collaborations that we want to do together. However, I don't think we are like pure competitors because we're just looking at different customer base and different jurisdictions. And there are definitely things that BlackRock do much better than Bitget, but also vice versa. Like there are certain things that Bitget is good at, but BlackRock cannot do, or they don't want to do that business. So it's more of collaborations that I'm seeing here. And by the way, all these names that we major financial service providers, we are actually working together.
I think that's a good angle. And yeah, we are gonna. I have a last question, and I'm gonna stop abusing of your time. Actually, because it's very cool.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it's people asked to Palo Arduino if there was any beef, for example, with Ethina. No, Ethina is launching these yield stable coins, but actually the guy from Ethina said, "Look, that's not competition. We are creating a more structured market, and that's good for everybody involved." I think that's the point also with BlackRock. I mean, BlackRock launching Beetle gave a new product first, and second, yeah, BlackRock actually is bringing to the market its credibility. probably the crypto market lacked some kind of credibility, at least for a certain part of investors. And actually, I think it's good to have Larry Fink on your side. I mean, Larry
Yeah.
Fink can sell basically anything. Probably can sell me. He's very good at selling. I'm shocked. So
Hmm.
probably having him on our side is gonna be good. So you think that these let's put BlackRock aside. There is a lot of institutional public companies buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Do you think it's good, or we lost our some kind of anarchic attitude that we had in the past?
Attitude. Um, well, I'm not crypto native. I didn't buy enough Bitcoin in early days. I don't consider myself an OG. I joined Bitget in 2022 when it's like kicking off all this mass adoption and TradFi expansion already. Um, Although I'm still a quite rebellious girl in the sense that, riot or I don't really believe in anything that is too centralized. I hold a lot of my cryptocurrency in my wallets, things like that. That's probably some spirit that I do hold, and I think is quite native to crypto. But I don't think this industry should go against the rest of the world, should go against TradFi, should go against the government. Um, However, for actually on the other hand, or even like further down, we should work together to establish more regulation frameworks, be more compliant, to integrate to the traditional financial world. And I personally love to see more companies purchasing Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, add them into their order book, because these assets are gonna be more and more valuable. In my opinion, I'm very doubling down on cryptocurrency, especially the major ones. And as I mentioned earlier, I think Bitcoin is the best U.S. risky asset, or dollar risky asset in the coming at least many years. And I hold lots of Bitcoin in my wallets. So I whether this is like against the original spirit, maybe when Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the Bitcoin white paper, he had this ideology of creating a very decentralized world, that is a little bit against some centralized entities. But at least today, what we are seeing is doing the long good to our industry. I don't think we should be enemies with the rest of it. We should integrate instead, to the TradFi, to work closely with public companies to add crypto into their balance sheet. And I see that as a trend as well.
I do agree. Actually, Larry Fink is a very powerful person. His ETF has something around $50 billion in Bitcoin. Still, he cannot change a single thing about Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is showing actually its original idea.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can change it. Rules are the same for everybody, from Larry Fink to the guy who has 100 Satoshi, actually.
Yeah.
And I think that actually the original Bitcoiners are a bit scared by something that actually the Bitcoin is strong enough to resist also the presence of Larry Fink and BlackRock. Gracie, thank you on behalf of cryptovaluta.it, our readers and our watchers, and we hope to have you again later on.
For having me. Yeah.
Good luck for your 2025, for your future ventures, and for the future of Bitget. Thank you again.
Thank you.